Day 25. Here we go. Let's get right into it. Y'all not ready for this one. Today's theme is the power of acknowledgement. The type of acknowledgement I'm talking about is saying what needs to be said without a quote unquote getting one end point. Meaning, you're not saying what you're saying to make someone feel good. You're not saying to you're not saying what you're saying to get something, to get them to feel some way, to get yourself to feel some way, to get anything. That's the whole getting one aspect, right? Because even though that might be the intention, is like, what can I say to make them feel better? And it's like the purest good intention. Can you see how there's that very slight, subtle form of manipulation? Just consider that that's there. And of course, that's not bad or wrong, right or good. And I want to have you try something different in forms of your communication and conversations with others, and thus having more higher quality, deeply connected relationships. Yeah? So then you're like, how can we do this so purely? Like, what is this about, Jacqueline? So, this is how you do it. So, erase all that you know about communication. Okay? Erase. Just close your eyes, think in the back of your head, or think in your mind, just a clear, empty space. Take a deep breath in. And then let go of everything that's there. So, how do you acknowledge so purely? First, we tap into our hearts, my loves. That's how we do it. We take a moment when you're with someone and you deeply listen to what they're saying. You listen with your heart, not with your mind, not logically thinking about what to say next, not logically conceptualizing what they're trying to say with the words that they choose and the language that they're choosing, right? You are listening with your heart, and then what naturally comes up from their sharing is acknowledgement if you listened well and listened deeply. Now, it's easy for us to go into, am I doing this right? Like that type of questioning. And know that that's an old program. Once you can call that out, because that's what's automatically going to be there's like, okay, wait, am I doing this right? Like, wait, what am I trying to get to here? Like, wait, what does Jacqueline say again? Like, how do I do this? Am I doing this right? And then you like over conceptualize. That's like you being in your head trying to figure it out. If you see yourself doing that, like, thank you, roommate, for sharing. And I'm going to continue to listen with my heart. I'm going to tap in. Okay. Knowing is that whole questioning thing is just an old program, because in reality, there is no right or wrong way to listen. Listening is just listening. This is a practice of acknowledgement, saying what needs to be said. That's beyond just the words that our friend, our partner, our children, our coworker, whoever, our parents, whoever that's on the other end, the one that is speaking, the one is communicating to us, trying to communicate to us. It's more than their language that they choose. It's more than all of that, right? This is practice in reading in between the lines, tapping into the wisdom of reading and listening the body language, the tonality of the voice, without being so technical and conceptual about it. Listening naturally as the leader that you are. Yeah? So if there is an intention, like if there is a getting one, quote unquote, getting one, is that you stand in a place where you are pulling for their greatest self to show up. You're looking at them like they are the most prized possession, not possession, like they are the most greatest version of them. Okay? And why do we do this? This is kind of getting meta now, but I still want to get to the point. We do this because when we offer that stand energetically, that space, we're holding space for them to communicate, and we look at them with endearing eyes, and we listen, then we can hear their pains, we can hear their humanness, we can hear their struggles, we can see, feel, hear their challenges without, and that is only done without our own programming, our own assuming, our own things about it, right? Because we all are using our own filters on how we perceive the world. But when you just like let go of your own filters and you truly hold space for another, and you are actively listening for them, standing in that they show up as their highest self, then you can really see their humanness and bring grace and compassion to that moment. And thus, you give them this sense of relief that they have been looking for, right? Yeah. So, this is so good when we can practice this with others because one, we give them a huge amount of relief by being seen and heard from you more than anyone else in the world, maybe. And then two, builds a deeper connection within the relationship. And once you do this with others, then you can actually do this with yourself. Because the harder thing to do is doing it with yourself because you lived with yourself this whole time. You kind of, there's more blind spots and stuff. So when this is like flipping it on its head, right? This is you being able to practice this tool called acknowledgement by deep listening. This is what has the utter potential to heal the world. And I'm not saying that that's your true north. I'm just speaking the powers of this practice that has the powers of this practice has when you bring awareness and conscious intention for our future, like your own future and the future generations to come. Cool? This just means that you are giving not only yourself but other people more compassion and grace. Thus, you are doing the work, God's work, as some may say. You are. And this doesn't necessarily need to be something that is like hustle, like I need to do it. And this is not something that needs to feel pressured or overwhelming. This is just an access, y'all. It's an access. It's an access point to your empowerment and empowering others, because guess what that does? When you do something for others, it's just like doing it for yourself. If you ever heard the saying, everyone is you pushed out, this is what they mean. It's like everyone external outside of you is a reflection of you. Okay. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So today's practice is acknowledgement by listening. You got this. This can look like today as just starting to listen to whoever wants to talk to you next, or even practicing listening in other people's conversations. Like if you listen to a podcast, you kind of listen for how they interact, right? It's like a study, utilizing, tapping into your heart rather than conceptualizing and rationalizing and justifying things, right? We're no longer needing to defend, protect, hide ourselves using coping mechanisms like, subtle forms of manipulation, judgment, things like that. Yeah. There's no safety that we need to bring ourselves in other than creating the safety within ourselves first. Does that make sense? You guys got this. I'll see you guys tomorrow.